Live.
We're like, oh, why am
I
I
don't
all
know,
bigger?
man. Oh, it's so annoying. 1 second.
It's all right. No, is it automatic?
It jumps a bit sometimes. It's not perfect. There you go.
It's on delay for me, so it's a bit weird when I see
Yeah.
myself. Hang on, did you
I
get a
did.
haircut? What, between
Yeah,
when I
so
saw
after
you
after
and
we I went to the
ah,
supermarket, went to get a haircut, went home.
all right,
Yeah.
all right. I actually got lost trying to get out of
What the
there.
fuck? Because
I don't know. I just assume if I go straight, I'll find the main road, but I just never got
what didn't you
there.
Google Map it?
No, no. I just assumed if I go straight, I'll just find the main road. But
You
I don't know. I went under a bridge, and I guess that was like Southern Cross,
Wow.
maybe.
You're brave.
Wow, wow, wow.
Alrighty, let's
Yeah.
go.
Okay, episode
So we start with
145.
Facebook, Giphy, and then everything else.
Should we just give the Twitch audience a bit of a heads up? Well, what is everything
Oh, we're
else?
gonna talk about Apple. Oh no, we're starting with Apple rumors. How about we end with
Hmm.
Facebook? Start with Apple rumors. We go into Twitter, Microsoft, Star Wars, my gaming piece, and then we go to Facebook.
So I can't remember that. So you might have to lead the witness. I
I've
can't
never
remember
done that
that.
before. All
Okay.
right.
You have
Basically,
a
I'm running through
plan.
your list.
Okay.
Facebook at the bottom. That's it.
Way at the
Yeah.
bottom.
So
Okay.
between that, it's just
Okay.
my
No,
quick
that
piece
works.
on
That works. That
Ubisoft.
works. Okay. That works. I can live with that. Just checking the levels. Twitch, just quick thumbs up if you can hear us okay.
Uh,
That's a joke. Mm, and okay, 3 minute mark. Are we all ready to go?
Testing 1 2
Just have
3.
some
Testing 1
water.
2 3. Yep.
I think last one sounded pretty good
Yeah,
quality
no, I was really happy
wise.
with that one.
I did zero editing again. We are so good at this.
145 episodes, 10 years. What is it? How many years now? I have no idea.
Unlike some other radio show who shall remain unnamed, who are giving up,
Retiring.
retiring. Or is it like on
No, they're gone.
hiatus? They're gone.
Gone.
Wow.
We're the last ones left.
Who might that be? Hey, once you go big in Sweden,
You know what the Swedes say? I have no idea.
hello.
What the fuck?
Hi, Sven. Hello, Olga. Okay. Was it a bit? Let's go, but hello, Barbie. Let's go party. Is that the
Jesus.
song?
Can we just start?
Okay. All right, we're gonna start. Okay. I feel like I'm missing something, but
The
just
intro?
intro. Okay, my intro. That's right. Sorry, just gonna cover my face with the window so I don't look at myself. It's very distracting when I'm on delay. Okay. Episode 145. Episode 145. Okay. 3 and a 2 and a 1. Hello and welcome to episode 145 of the Naked Tech Podcast. We're here to give you all you need to know about it. No, stop that up. Did you make a sound?
No, I didn't do a thing. No,
You
I
made
didn't.
a sound. I heard a burp. I heard a burp.
It was
I was like,
Felicia.
what? Was it a burp? Oh, no, she's farting. Actually, she's a girl, so she doesn't fart. All right. Take 2. Hello and welcome to episode 145. No. I don't. It's just like one of those things where
the vibe isn't right.
No.
Is
Okay,
it the numbers 145?
Hang on, what? On episode 145.
145?
Of the Naked Tech Podcast. Okay, there's a lot of vowels. There's a lot of vowels.
Say 145.
Okay. 145. Oh, No, I like
All right, all right,
145.
all right,
Okay,
all right,
don't.
all right, all
Okay,
right,
you're
all right.
distracting me. Right. Three, two, one. Hello and welcome to episode 145 of the Naked Tech Podcast. It's a show that gives you everything you need to know about consumer tech, the internet, and all things fiber to the building. I'm your friend Jeff
My name is
Kim.
Kelvin Lee, and oh, I had a haircut today. Oh, so good. Oh, so good.
Did you have to wear a mask?
No, but my hairdresser wore a mask. Uh,
Yeah, that seems to be mandatory for the barbers
yeah.
out there.
The soup.
And they're wearing
I
gloves?
don't remember her wearing gloves. I sat down and she's like,
Okay.
"Whoa, when was the last time you had a haircut?" I'm like, "Don't judge me."
I mean, like, she must be saying that for every single guy that comes
Yeah,
across, right? I mean, I'm wearing a hat permanently because I just can't won't be
yeah. I
seen.
couldn't find any hats, so I decided to get a haircut instead. But I definitely want to get more hats.
Works. I've been looking for some good hats just for the Twitch audience, but anyway, I don't know if you noticed, I've been changing my shirt every
Yeah.
my
I
geeky
don't know if you
shirts is on
realize
display
I'm
on
not wearing my
YouTube.
pajamas anymore. I think that's a step up.
Just get a nerdy set of pajamas. All right, so this is a bit of a quick turnaround because we recorded a little bit late last week. So there's been what, maybe 3 days in
Mm.
between. So we'll see how it goes because I think I still had lots to clip, lots of stories that I missed out on last week. So a bit of residue from that. But we've got some fun ones tonight, I think, Kelvin. We're going to start with some Apple
Yeah.
rumors.
Favorite.
Favorite. I mean, there's been lots of leaks and rumors about the new iPhone 12. I think you're already looking forward to
Mm-hmm.
getting that one. Was it for May? I can't remember what you said, but I mean, like that seems to be quite locked in terms of the form factor, the screens. It's going to be 128, 128,
120 hertz.
120, 120, 120 hertz. That's right. Refresh rate. Yeah. What are you looking forward
So
to
I've got a
about that
question for
exactly?
you.
Oh, okay.
USB-C or not? What do you think?
USB-C or not? I don't see why they
Mm,
would.
I agree. I think the iPad Pro going USB-C was amazing. I don't know. I think
Hmm.
it was one of my predictions for 2020 that it wouldn't have USB-C. I gotta look back, but oh, if it had USB-C, like that would just complete it, right? I mean, everyone's got whoever has a MacBook, a recent MacBook, can charge the phone
Hmm.
at the same time. I want them to, but I don't think they are. And what else am I looking forward to? We'll talk about that. I'll talk about this later in the show. With Ubisoft suing Google and Apple for people cloning their games and stuff. Um, yeah, we'll talk about then. What else am I looking forward for? The cameras are going to be the same. Apparently, it's got the boxy sort of design coming back. That sort of iPad Pro box design. Remember the iPhone 5? You could actually stand it on a desk and it would stand. I kind of like that. I'm over the
Hmm.
whole curved
Yep.
glass scenario. It just doesn't feel right. Especially I'm now running with the S10 Plus. I just want to go back to
Yeah.
square, boxy. Better for the hands, really. I feel
Mm.
I feel like this phone slips out of my hand too much. Hence why I have a case and all. So yeah, looking forward to a new design.
I think one of the leaks or the rumored leaks was one of the colors. I think it was like a navy blue, and they haven't really done that before. So if that happens, that could be a clincher for me. I mean, I don't really need another phone. Jeez, depends what my mum says at the end of the year. Do you want to upgrade from your iPhone 10, mum? Um, so moving on from that, so there's been a couple of things from our, perennial leakers out there. So Ming Chi Kuo, who's a analyst that has been pretty much on the mark. I would say what, last at least 5 years.
Everyone goes to him for these leaks, and he hasn't been wrong. So
Mm. Yeah, so he's, I mean, this sort of reiterating what he said previously, but he reckons the AR headset, that's augmented reality headset, so that's like more like a VR headset,
hmm
I guess. That'll be coming out in 2022, but the glasses, which will be the lighter form factor, similar to Google Glass, but obviously not as Glass Holy will be the year after that. However, there's been a fresh new rumor,
Mm.
and it comes from Front Page Tech, who has been featured on our podcast a couple of times over the years. His name is John Prosser, and he's this young dude, upstart on YouTube. He kind of makes fun of other YouTubers and Mac Rumors and those guys. So he's saying something else. Um, he thinks that AR glass is coming next year.
Mm. What do you believe? What do you
Yes.
think?
Well, I mean, he's been on the mark. John Prosser has been on the mark for the last couple of months. So I feel like he has someone, on the inside for sure. He's been able to get the prices right ahead of time. Even things like when press releases will come out to the
What?
minute. So that's why people are on top of this. Now he's Tom Merritt from DTNS, his take on this whole ordeal.
But I'm also kind of interested in industry veteran, longtime proven credible analyst whose predictions generally are spot on. Ming-Chi Kuo going up against the young up-and-comer YouTuber John Prosser over the date of the AR glasses. We will check back in March to June 2021 to see who will win this epic fight.
Yeah, so John has been saying that he has actually seen these glasses. That's not it on the screen, but that's probably a render from somewhere. He has actually seen it. He can't say anything for legal reasons right now. However, he's gonna drop something soon, like probably in the coming days.
Why would Apple want to do VR-esque like goggles, the ones that you have to sit at home or sit somewhere on a bus or something to really enjoy? I don't see why they would do that. It's not their thing, right?
Going straight to
Yeah.
glasses, you mean? I mean, like I've been saying it for the last 3 years that 2020 is a great year to be releasing sunglasses like 2020 Vision. So I always thought 2020 was a year, although, yeah, I guess that's not going to happen. They've been on this for several years. The rumors have been there. I did read that they acquired a company called Next VR recently as well, Apple. So they've got the resources, they've got the know-how. It's just a matter of timing, I
Because
think.
let's just say it costs $1,000. Just hypothetically, it's going to impact the sales of their phones, right? I mean, most people like you and I, we can only afford one expensive tech item every year and a half. So it's going to prolong the life cycle of my phone. If I have an iPhone 11, I'm not going to jump to a 12 or 13 when the AR glasses come out, because I want to buy the AR glasses and have that Apple experience attached to my eyeballs. Maybe that's a consideration.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I think eventually it'll flip to glasses being the main device when the technology is around. So right now you could only think that it's a companion to your phone. Maybe we don't at some point won't need a phone. You can do everything with your watch. Screen wise, it's like floating above your head or in front of your eyes, I should say. And when that happens and the resolution improves, there'll be some gestures with your thumb, I suppose. Maybe they'll introduce some sort of like a ring controller, just like Amazon has. Can't remember what that was called. The Ring? Amazon Ring?
Yeah.
So that's probably the future roadmap, and I think a lot of these companies recognize that that there is a shelf life date to phones, slabby phones.
No, I think it's definitely coming to an end with Samsung trying to build a 108 megapixel camera on their S20, and apparently it's not even good. So it's all coming to an end, I think. And then with the iPhone SE, budget phones are now a thing again. So it's come full circle. I don't see where they can move forward on in terms of phone designs and phone functions and software and things like that. So time for the eyeballs.
No, hey, that's product launch right there. Eyeballs.
Should we
Spelled with I.
move on to Twitter and what they think about working from home?
Yes. So Jack Dorsey, just find the clip. I'll play a clip first. This is from the Pivot podcast. There's a bit of a zinger at the end.
Let's talk about a couple things. One is Twitter says employees can work from home forever now. So Jack can finally live in Africa. This is a really great moment. What do you think?
Well, WFH is now just W, right?
Just W, man.
Yeah.
I'm W.
W. What are you doing?
I'm working, baby. I'm working.
Wing.
I'm working from wherever I want. So yeah, another bit of a clickbaity headline. So Twitter says, "Yep, yeah, you guys just work from home." People are going to click on that link, right? However, the email that Jack Dorsey sent to the staff wasn't quite that. It was more about, well, I think it was worded like however long you see fit. So it's a bit, they're not saying they'll definitely be working from home forever. But like I think it's like most organizations right now. I think even my organization, my place of work is talking along those lines.
Yeah, because I don't think any employer wants to be responsible for you getting COVID. And it's not just about your workplace, it's about how you get to work as well. You jump on a train, if, for whatever reason, you get infected, that's on the employer. So I think if you're willing to take the risk and say, hey, if you want to come to work, there is that option for you, but we're not responsible because we didn't exactly tell you to come to work. So I think everyone's stuck in a really tough place.
I think it'll be interesting once the restrictions have been lifted even further. I mean, this week is the first week, I suppose, at stage 1 restrictions being lifted. I forget her name again. Berejiklian, New South Wales Premier, our Gladys. She was on TV just about an hour ago, saying, well, we, public transport wise, we can only have like 12 people on a bus, and you're expecting people to go to work.
Yeah, and
they said they'll like close stations if the platforms become too full. It's like, well, I mean, people got to go to work.
Yeah, so I also got an email from the city of Sydney saying that they're building new cycle lanes quickly in the next few weeks to help accommodate that. And, that's one sort of, good thing to come out of all this is people are looking into alternatives to your buses and your cars and everything. Because if everyone jumps into a car tomorrow, the city's going to be gridlocked. And there was a short story I saw about London and New York and all those cities that are way bigger than Sydney. I don't know how they're going to cope with this. So stay at home, I think, if your work allows you to, just to take the weight off the network and the people who really need to go into work. And that's not us.
I think what will likely happen is maybe start with, once a week. I mean, like I actually had this discussion with my manager just today saying, well, it only makes sense for me to go to work when everyone else is also at work. But then, the message is like, well, you guys should stagger it. So, well, what's the point? We might as well just work remotely. So it's like, it's going to be hard. I mean, I don't know. If you're a CEO of a big company, say more than 1,000 people, like, have we gone beyond that point of, well, it's, productivity has lifted. I think across the board, everyone says that. I think if you happen to be one of those that are actually just bludging, I think you will get found out, right? I think people can see it. So yeah, I mean, it's hard for them. Like Jack Dorsey, I mean, he's saying these things probably for political reasons, but I mean, like deep down inside, he must be thinking, well, no, my slaves have to, be controlled in some way.
And you're going to get found out even more so now, I feel, as people invest in surveillance tools and, IT is probably, looking at the traffic in more detail now than ever before, right? You're going through their VPN or you're going through different tools or they're logging whatever cookies or cache they can get in your laptop. So, it's a different world now.
That's right. I've got a quick story from Microsoft's perspective. So Satya Nadella, he read that article about Jack Dorsey saying, "Nah, you guys can work from home permanently." He's like, well, let's be a bit careful here. I mean, there's some negative effects to that. So he's citing, mental health, just general burnout. Because like, I mean, I found myself sometimes just skipping meals because I just forget, or just been in emails and been meeting back-to-back meetings, like meetings in inverted commas, because I'm just sort of on a Skype call or something like that. And and that connectivity with your colleagues, right? I mean, I probably have catch-ups with my own teammates more than I would have if I was in the office, strangely. But like, there is something to that, face-to-face interaction, right?
No, I totally agree. Like
Yeah.
I've worked remotely for the last 18 months, 2 years, and I definitely, miss that interaction. And conversations are shorter in person. I can get away with, the body language. I can read someone's body language. I can read your facial expressions. I can go on a whiteboard and do something. I don't, even though there are tools like Mural and things like that, it's so much more difficult to explain a concept
Yeah.
online. So pros and cons, it's not for everyone. And you're going to have to find your own way through this, what suits you. And as time goes, I think, people will get more comfortable.
And it depends on the nature of work as well. So if you're more of a visual, if you're in that visual sort of industry, like I think it'll be harder to collaborate, sort of bounce ideas off. It's you can have virtual whiteboards, but come on, like, has there actually been a good one? I don't know. I think Teams might actually have one, but like, if you don't have a proper stylus or anything like that, it's going to be hard. And that's probably the part that's missing. But then if the message is like, well, just come in on separate days, then it just kind of, misses the point. Yeah. Let's move on from that. What else have we
Star Wars
got?
time.
Oh, we're going Star Wars. Actually, before we do that, because I've got a pretty good Star Wars sort of bit here, but Black Mirror,
Yeah.
you remember that show? Season 6, is
Yeah.
it? That was meant to come out later this year. This is the update for season 6.
New Black Mirror episodes on hold for now. In an interview with Radio Times, the show creator, Charlie Brooker, said that he's been busy working on projects, but that he's not working on any new Black Mirror episodes. In fact, Brooker wants to go the opposite direction and dip his toes into comedy. The reason for the comedic break? Brooker says he's not sure if people would want to stomach more stories about societies falling apart during an already bleak time.
I'm in agreement with this. We don't want any more Black Mirror. I'm not going to be watching
and
it.
we had this discussion off show. I mean, on Twitch. Even Rick and Morty is hurting my head right now because I don't think my head has the capacity to go into those places and imagine sort of these different experiences and things, negative ones especially. So I think with the more positive content we can put out there, whether it be your favorite podcast or your favorite YouTuber, get a hold of that stuff because there's going to be more doom and gloom coming. So I had more positivity to him. I think it's worth it. Black Mirror just really knows how to really tap into your dark side. So I'm glad he's doing that.
Yeah, I don't know about Rick and Morty. I mean, sure, there are dark themes, and it's a bit of a different reason because this is about, Rick and Morty is more about alcoholism and family issues. I mean, that is bleak regardless of whether we're in a pandemic or not. So that's a little bit different for me. But I mean, like I talked about the Midnight Gospel, which you're not going to watch, Kelvin, but I found it quite therapeutic. And I wasn't taking any drugs while I'm watching it, although that's recommended apparently. But, it's so I don't know if I mentioned it last time, but it's literally a audio snip of his podcast, and they just put it in a cartoon. They just put some
animation,
like colorful images around it. Yeah. But yeah, like, the last episode is actually about his dying mum, and that was a real podcast episode that he did 3 months before she passed away. So it's quite bittersweet, and she's she's like a philosopher, and she's a cool mum. But I found it pretty good. So, Black Mirror, it's sort of in your face. It's more bleak in your obvious way because they literally predicted the future. However, like I think there's sort of dark content that's suitable in these times, but like maybe, different sort of flourishes of
You know what? Black
darkness.
Mirror can take credit for every disaster that's going to come. Yeah,
Possibly,
they put their research in. They knew exactly what was going to fail. So,
Well, don't forget, AR glasses is probably the bridge to the Black Mirror type of technology. So we're all on that path. Okay, Star Wars. I've been going on about Clone Wars. Speaking of pandemic viewing, and you finished it recently as well. It's except for the first couple of episodes, I think it's been a brilliant show. I still stand by it. I think it's the best Star Wars ever.
Yeah.
Like it, I've never felt so emotionally connected to the Ahsoka Tano story arc, and how she sort of lifts the prequels in a way. I mean, like I haven't seen the prequels since finishing the season, but like especially Revenge of the Sith. I think that makes it a whole lot better.
I agree.
Like, yeah. So Disney Plus, you just signed up as well. They're doing a thing called Disney Gallery, and it's about The Mandalorian. There's, I think, 8 episodes. They're up to maybe episode 3. I just watched the second one, and this is I guess, Jon Favreau's chance to sort of give a sneak peek behind the scenes of how the show was created, The Mandalorian. We've already talked about the technology side of things, but episode 2 was titled Legacy. So it's all about George Lucas, the beginnings of Star Wars, how he created this amazing universe, and different people have sort of run with it, right? So if you just have a look at the list of directors for The Mandalorian, the first season, Jon Favreau directed a couple, Taika Waititi. You got your favorite actress, Bryce Dallas Howard, doing one of those episodes, I think.
She's slowly redeeming
I don't know if you
herself
can remember
for
which
me.
one.
So no, I think yeah. I thought obviously the episode with Taika was very memorable, especially with the shooting of the cans by the stormtroopers. I thought that was amazing.
That's right, yeah. There's also a couple more. Deborah Chow, who I think is amazing as well. She's up and coming. She's done a bunch of Walking Dead. Rick Famuyiwa, and of course Dave Filoni sort of directed the some of the episodes. Now I was just floored by what Dave Filoni said, like towards the end of episode 2 of that series. He's like his love for George Lucas and respect for his work and sort of the, I guess, the spirit of Star Wars. Like as fans, we kind of talk about that, but like Dave Filoni, like he totally gets it. This is a longish clip. No, it's 32 seconds, but he's going to be talking about the Phantom Menace, in particular, the Duel of the Fates.
I love the lightsaber fight with Darth Maul, not because it's a lightsaber fight, but because George is so good at crafting why that fight's important every time. What's at stake is really how Anakin's going to turn out, because Qui-Gon is different than the rest of the Jedi, and you get that in the movie, and Qui-Gon is fighting because he knows he's the father that Anakin needs. So he's fighting for Anakin, and that's why it's the Duel of the Fates. It's the fate of this child. And depending on how this fight goes, Anakin his life is gonna be dramatically different. So Qui-Gon loses, of course.
Love the sound effects in the background there. Yeah, so I mean, I never saw it this way at all, and it makes total sense. So Qui-Gon was the father figure, and Obi-Wan was the brother figure. But then because, of what happened in that fight, Qui-Gon lost, and, he sort of had a brother. So, like, I won't play the whole thing because it goes for about 5-6 minutes, but he goes on to say that the plot line sort of continues all the way to Return of the Jedi, when, the last part where the Emperor is telling Luke to strike him down like he normally does at the end of a trilogy, and then Luke won't do it, but the father is sort of on the side, sort of like seeing this happen, but then he sort of becomes the father, right, at that point, and that's sort of the full arc of Anakin.
Yeah, and it sort of had
the father that he never
had
had.
A domino effect, right? Because with Qui-Gon gone, Obi-Wan had to step up, and it was probably too soon for him. So a lot of Rebels, you see a lot of the bickering between Obi-Wan and Anakin. Anakin wanting to be a Jedi Master, so on and so forth. So it definitely, this perspective from Dave definitely put things. It sort of made the connections a lot clearer. Like Qui-Gon felt that this is a bigger battle than anyone thought it would be, and we all thought it was just a cool sort of lightsaber battle, but it determined everything moving forward from that point. So never thought
Yeah.
about it that way.
The hint is in the name, right? Like Duel of the Fates. I always wondered, okay, well, what's with the name?
big
But
deal?
makes total sense. And like Dave has been hanging out with George over the years. Like when George created the Clone Wars, the first season, and I think there was like a short, different type of animated series as well. That was all George, but that they were really
Yeah.
bad, including the movie,
Yeah.
if you remember. But he tapped Dave Filoni on the shoulder, and I think at the time he must have been doing something on like Nickelodeon, I think. So nothing related to Star Wars, right? But then somehow he saw this talent, and I mean, first of all, he's just a super fan. So he just knew the whole thing. He knew what Anakin's character was about, and of course, the Clone Wars is about, making Anakin's character a little bit more believable. Because if you just go by the prequel
It's
trilogy,
horrible.
like he's this wooden guy, has no humor.
Whiny kid.
Well, maybe whiny or too serious. There's nothing in between. Then you throw in Ahsoka as well, who was also created by George Lucas. This is the second part of the clip, and this is going to show, I think, why everyone's saying Dave Filoni should like pretty much run Star Wars from now on.
So George has this hopeful story, and it's something that he's reiterated most times I've seen him. Remember to make these stories hopeful. Remember to give that to kids because they really need it. And so that's just something to keep in mind. Did I bring us down?
Wow, no, that is
I
beautiful.
think
Yes, I highly recommend this episode. It's the second one of the Disney Gallery, The Mandalorian on Disney Plus. Have they kept the pricing low?
It's
Disney Plus? They
$8.99,
haven't,
I
eh?
think.
Okay.
Yep.
So I mean, like, I know a lot of people are doing, reruns of the MCU. Obviously, there's heaps of Star Wars material. So even kids and big kids alike can go through so much stuff on Disney Plus
I don't
right
think
now.
The Mandalorian is great, but so much is coming out of it. For example, the rumor of Rosario Dawson being Ahsoka Tano in season 2, which I think is going to be amazing. But also, like,
It's more than a rumor now.
Taika, like the fact that he can do Star Wars as well. And didn't they give him a movie or a TV series in Star Wars? What was?
He's getting a movie.
So not a great series, Mandalorian on its own, but so much is coming out of it.
Yeah, that's right. And I think instead of the Old Republic, they're going to create this other era of Star Wars, which is just before the Phantom Menace era. What are they calling that? It's something other Republic.
Old, new, I don't know. Yeah, but no, I'm looking forward to it. I think the Star Wars universe is just going to get stronger after what we've seen so far with the Skywalker saga, which is all in Disney Plus at the moment.
Yeah, the movies didn't do so well because the other flip side to this is that despite what Dave Filoni says, JJ pretty much upended that by bringing back the Emperor, and basically all of this stuff that George created is for nothing.
JJ.
Because basically Anakin wasn't the chosen one, right? Anyway, that just depresses
that's a
me
whole
little bit.
episode in itself.
Speaking of depressing,
so let's take a left turn, a very sharp left turn away from Star Wars into something that may seem quite simple, but actually has a lot of sort of underlying issues, and it shows a lot of that. So Ubisoft is a game publisher that makes games like, Tom Clancy's games. One of their most popular games is a game called Rainbow Six Siege. And this is a problem on the Android Google Play Store at the moment, where a lot of these clones, a lot of the games that we play on PC and consoles, Fortnite, Counter-Strike, and Rainbow Six are being copied in the mobile app stores. And a lot of these clones are actually made by Chinese developers in China. So you guys have heard all the stories. It's very difficult to go into China to claim copyright because, they favor local companies. The company that made this clone of Ubisoft's game is actually belongs to Alibaba. It's ejoy.com. So that brings a whole different set of problems. But this is a real problem for Android and Apple as well, because the quality of your apps is going to determine the popularity of your operating system, which is why I think at the moment Apple has an edge over Android because of Apple Arcade. They can control the quality of the games. They can, get developers to develop games just for the platform, and they're all going to be good quality. Google needs something like this quickly because at the moment, if I look through, probably the biggest blight in my Android experience is the App Store. There is so much crap on it. It's just unbearable. If you don't find the right, if you don't know of the game, you can't discover new content. So it's going to be a challenge, and I think Apple and Google both need to find a way.
So I'm just trying to understand the Apple angle. Is it because of the Alibaba connection?
So the what I read from Kotaku article, which we'll share in the show notes, is you can't sue the developer, especially in China, because it's going to be too difficult. So they're suing the stores instead. So if Ubisoft wins, a lot of people are going to start suing Apple and Google rather than the developers themselves.
Gotcha.
So this is going to have huge sort of ramifications for Google and Apple. But we'll see what happens.
Right. So even though Rainbow Six is like a AAA, would you say AAA game?
Definitely. Probably one of the hottest games in the esport landscape right now.
And copycat developers are able to copy a AAA game.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a part that's I'm like kind of like flawed by at the moment.
So there is something called an asset swap. To create games in particularly on the Android system, you can buy these assets of a person, of a gun, of a flashbang, and you can just create this game fairly quickly. So there's not what is the legality around that? Like, what is the copyright? If it's already there, I'm just using assets that I have licenses to. What exactly is the legal issue? So it'll be super interesting to see where this lawsuit goes and what sort of issues it'll create for Apple and Google.
That reminds me of the case around the dancers in Fortnite. So Carlton Banks from
from the Fresh Prince. Yes.
He tried to sue Fortnite for copying that dance, but then like how do you copyright a dance? Yeah. Interesting.
Now let's move on to probably the biggest story in the last couple of days. Facebook buying Giphy?
I'm going to go for Giphy because I've been saying GIFs. Giphy in a Jiffy. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Let's see. It was $400 million. It was done quite recently. What I didn't realize was how close Facebook and Giphy were even before this purchase. I've got a good intro clip in terms of why Facebook wants to buy Giphy from CNBC.
What does this mean, this move by Facebook today?
Yeah, so I think this acquisition today, while it's not really big in terms of overall dollars, look, this is about competing for engagement time, for making the experience, the platform more fun, more entertaining. Yes, you're right. I mean, there is kind of a battle that goes on for overall engagement time across users, across the social space. And I think with Facebook in particular, they've obviously had a very strong relationship with the company prior till now. I think about 50% of the traffic actually comes from the Facebook family of apps, and a lot of that in particular coming from Instagram already. So it seems to make a lot of sense strategically, and engagement on Facebook and the Facebook family continues to be very strong, and this should help it that much more.
50%. I feel like most of social media is under Facebook, so
very true.
Is that really saying much about it? Okay.
And he's right.
I've got another.
400 mil is cheap when you divide it with the number of GIFs. What is it? 5 cents each or whatever it is. I think it's a great buy.
I've got another stat here. They claim that 700 million people see Giphy or Giphy content every day.
Every day.
700 million. I mean, that seems like a large number because that's actually a sizable percentage of the world's population. So maybe they're not doing it by uniques necessarily, but by devices. I don't know. I guess the average person has 2 or 3 devices that they interact with. However, that's still a big number. So 50% of that is through Facebook anyway. So why buy it? Is it really to, limit the other services like iMessage Twitter is also using the API. TikTok as well, apparently. Not that I'm a TikTok user.
I think it's all about data. They want to be able to spot a meme quickly, and GIFs are the way to do it. And, considering that this is in iMessage, it's in MailChimp, it's in Signal, it's in Reddit, it's in everything, Telegraph, whatever, Facebook is not going to have more data for their ad machines.
What is the lifespan of just GIFs and GIFs in general? Like, will it ever die down? Like,
I don't think so. I think once you have a good one, like the whole, girlfriend, jealous boyfriend one, like that's been around for like a decade.
Yeah, that's my point though. Like, I think these happened during the MySpace days, right? And then MySpace died and it kind of died off. And I would say it's only really come about maybe since 2012 or 2013. Like, right now in 2020 is an essential way you communicate with your friends and even your family. I've seen my mum post some Giphies. That is fact. So like that is the test, right? When your mum starts using these things, that's mainstream. But I just feel like at some point, like maybe we'll just go back to normal, actual spelt out words.
Never.
Never? Okay. I don't know. Just a thing I had in my head.
Yeah, they're like, when it was all just words at some point,
What does this mean, this move by Facebook today?
We moved.
Sorry, that was not the cat, that was my thumb.
Same thing, right? So like we've moved from words to video to audio for some reason, and now we've got short videos, which are basically GIFs. It'll be interesting.
Well, they're not videos. They're just animated,
moving
set of
pictures,
frames, very lo-fi. Maybe that's the point. It doesn't take up too much data. I don't know. I just feel like, well, maybe the next step is like actually use video in your messages. No, it doesn't work. Like, is it the fact that it sort of restarts? It goes to the end, then it goes to the front. I don't get it. I don't actually get it.
Well, I think it just it makes a point really quickly in a very humorous way using images. You know what I mean? So people can sort of make that connection between a voice and an image, and it just gives it more color. So crazy kids.
I think what's likely to happen is maybe, the Twitters and Apples of the world, they might, because, Giphy is not the only company doing this, that there are other services. What's the Imager? Imager is another huge one.
That's owned by Reddit. So,
right.
So, you're going to get all these large social networks quickly just gobble up all these, content hosting services and own their own.
What do we know about the founder of Giphy? Because, like, can you imagine how they may have started? I wouldn't be surprised if if it's some 22-year-old that just decided to make this really easy. I don't know. Are you looking up now?
I am. So it's really quite strange. They don't talk a lot about the people behind Giphy. There is the size of the deal. There is the fact that it's an API. There is the 50% number. There is no talk. There are no names attached to this. I mean, the only quote they have in this Verge article is from Instagram, who is super excited about it all. So it's very strange.
All right, I got him.
Oh, you got him.
I've got Alex Chung, CEO of Giphy. He looks pretty young, I guess.
He's probably partying hard at the moment.
2013 it was founded. Yeah, Jace Cook and Alex Chung. They're probably college dropouts, I would say.
Well, okay. Good on them. On that note, I think that's it for our episode.
Speaking of dropping out,
of episode 145. We've got 144 other amazing episodes. You can find more information on the website. That's at nakedtechpodcast.com. You can find us on any of the social networks. Please let us know what you think. You might get a free sticker. Rate us 5 stars in the iTunes store. That's Calv out.
Jeff out. It's weird. They don't have their own Wikipedia articles.
Really?
You would think they would have it. He was Alex Chung was one of the keynote speakers at South by 2016.
Twitter was 2012?
When Twitter...
Yeah, at South
No,
by?
2007. 2007.
Wow, you were there, right? No, you were...
2011.
2011. That's right.
That was Foursquare, yeah. That was a Foursquare, yeah.
Well, say goodbye to Twitch and YouTube. Stopping the stream.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Bye-bye.
3, 2, 1. Later.